Hey everybody, wanted to do a quick little talk here about the final project that we have going on. I've got the description of it here in Desire to Learn. I'm still working on the rubric, making sure I'm getting all the points assigned the right way here. But this is the gist of what we need to accomplish, and I'll be working on mapping those over to the rubric. Shouldn't take too long for that, but wanted to get this out here for you. So if you wanted to get started, you've got it available. So the goal is we're building this little, text-based, sure, that's all we have right now, a shopping application. So it's going to track the store's inventory of items and a list of customers that they can log in, and then they'll have their shopping cart of items and lets them purchase the items. So users can either log in, and they're either going to log in as the customer or the store manager. For the store manager, they don't need accounts, just have some hard-coded password in there. It's not ideal, but that's okay. We're not too concerned about that. But as a customer, we're going to have a list of customers stored in a binary type file here. And then they'll also have an option to make a new account. They'll need their ID and password. When they do log in, we're going to at least try slightly. It's still not ideal, and it's not cryptographically secure or anything like that. But we're at least going to convert their password string to a hash, and we're going to store that hash. So here's the little C++ reference for hash. And it's not great, but we don't need to import all sorts of other things to get a really cryptographically secure password. We're just going to take one step and say this is better, even if it's not great. So we'll be storing that hash value there instead of the actual password text. So when they enter the password text, we'll need to hash it and see if it matches the hash that's stored in that binary file for those customers. And then if you log in as a manager, right, that's just username, password. Again, still with a hash, but it's just hard-coded in there, perfectly fine. They can either add items, they update the available quantity of items, they can change the price of items, so it just helps manage their store inventory. I'm not going to bother asking you guys to do a delete item, because that gets a little trickier, especially if customers have that item in the cart and all sorts of other issues, so don't worry about deleting. So it's really an add only. We'll update the quantity, change the price, and that's going to be stored again as a binary file on disk. So what we probably want to do is oversize this, say plan for 100 items. We can always change that later if we need to, but create that binary file where we've got an array of 100 of this struct, and then we can store all that on disk, and we'll just keep adding items as we go in there. So that's what the manager does. They can add, update, change price. And we can also print off a list. That's where we need list all items. So like quick little report of everything that's in there. Then as a customer, they should be able to change their password, again using the hash thing. They should be able to clear out their shopping cart, say, oh, forget it, I want to start over, or buy the items in the cart. So the buy process needs to update the quantity in the stock. So as they say, hey, I've got 10 apples in my cart and the stock has 20, I need to take 10 out of the stock when I do this buy process. So I need to be updating the inventory file as well as my cart. And if there are not enough items in the cart, if there are more items in the cart than quantity in stock, we need to throw an exception. We haven't talked about exceptions yet. We'll get there. So just for now, put that on the back burner. It's not going to be that big of a feature to do. So don't worry too much about it. Well, if they buy and everything is fine, we'll display the order total, ask for pretend credit card payment information, just say, hey, enter your payment info, just pretend. Right? We don't actually going to do anything there, and then we'll clear out the cart on a successful purchase. They should be able to manage the shopping cart, add, update quantities, delete items from the cart. So each shopping cart, so like each user should have their own shopping cart binary file to make this easier, because we don't know how many items are going to be in each cart, and we don't want to say, hey, I need to store tons and tons and tons of these for every single person. So we can be a little more flexible here with these binary files. And I'll show you guys some tips and tricks for that later. So you don't need to say, hey, here's room for 100 items. I'm going to store 100 empties, and maybe I'll add one or two things. We can be a little bit more flexible as we're storing our files. And that's actually all there is to it. It's not too much. Again, I kind of pared it back a little bit, given we can't do this in larger groups. So you're welcome to do this individually, or welcome to pair up with someone else. Just let me know if you do pair up. So let me add that in here. Welcome to pair up with someone for this. Just let me know working with. So let me know somehow who you're going to work with. If you want, I can get you set up with a private repository that you both have access to, and you can commit code in GitHub. Probably easier than any other way of emailing files back and forth, because that's really what GitHub is made for. The Git source control tool is made for is collaboration. It'll take a little bit of extra work if you are paired up. You always need to be very disciplined about committing your work, pushing and pulling, making sure we're always in sync. If two people edit the file at the same time, we can definitely get into trouble. But I can usually help people figure out what needs to happen there. And we've got some decent tools for fixing it. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I can give you some tips and tricks later in another video if you guys want. Just let me know. Yeah, so that'll be it for the final project, actually. It's definitely a little bit complex. We got a lot of things going on here, so think about classes and structs and how we want to design this and the menus and the flows. The more time you spend planning this, the easier it's going to be to actually write the code. So definitely spend some time thinking about it. I'm happy to talk over any ideas that you guys might have, let you know what I think, and we'll go from there. All right, thanks, guys.